Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. So, last year was the first ever AEW Dynasty, and it was definitely quite the show. It definitely was like the sleeper hit of the year. One that kind of I don't want to say felt last minute, but was kind of experimental in a way because it was the first pay per view of its kind to be called Dynasty, of course, in AEW. But last year delivered heavily. So, will this year be any different now that Dynasty seems to be an annual thing? Well, let's find out. I'm of course talking about this year's AEW Dynasty event, and so of course, as always, I am not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time, and I had an okay time with this event. And is it as good as the previous year? No. Mainly because last year's Dynamite was really fantastic. Not last year's Dynamite, last year's Dynasty was very fantastic. But will this year's Dynasty be any good? Let's find out. So if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of know how this works. I swear, after a certain time, my brain kind of feels like turns to mush, and the words don't quite come out, but they slowly trickle out and they try to escape. Just please bear with me. But if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of know how this works. However, if you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the event and each match, and we're going to go match by match. There we go. We do start with the two pre-show matches, which I did not watch. Nick Wayne and CRU, that being Leo Rush and Action Andretti, defeated the team of AR Fox and Top Flight, and Max Caster's kind of open challenge was answered by Anthony Bowen, and so Anthony Bowens is back. I did predict Josh Alexander, didn't quite happen, but Anthony Bowens is back and essentially proceeded to do what everyone else has done to Max Caster, that being squash his former tag team partner. Or so I guess the acclaim truly is done on an Anthony Bowens coming back with kind of a new look, new gear, flanked once again by Daddy Ass, new theme song, everything. So the whole package. So hopefully this means Anthony Bowens is getting a sizable push, but we will see in time. But yeah. So Bowens defeated Max Caster. But now, moving on to the show proper. As we open up with the with a first round match in the Men's Owen Hart Cup tournament, and by first round I automatically mean quarterfinal, I should say. As Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin, takes on the Jet, Kevin Knight, and the reason I know he's called the Jet now is because I actually saw it as they referred to him as such on commentary. Now, I kind of mentioned this as I did want to correct something I erroneously stated in my predictions video. I accidentally said that the wild card was replacing Switchblade Jay White because he's injured. Actually, it was Kevin Knight that replaced Jay White, who was injured. The wild card was already there, so I did want to correct that. Now, is there a chance the wild card could be Josh Alexander? It's a possibility, but Kevin Knight, I mentioned how I had not seen a match of his before, or was unfamiliar with him, so I was interested and I was excited to see what he'd be able to do in this match. And I think him against Ospreay here did relatively well. Seeing the aerial offense from both Ospreay and Kevin Knight, was pretty fun, pretty cool to see. And Kevin definitely was very interesting to watch from Jump Street. So I guess maybe I'll have to check out more of Kevin Knight and what he's able to do. But nevertheless, Ospreay does pick up the win and over him here. So Ospreay is advancing into the tournament. Who will he face who we face in the quarterfinals. We will find out, or in the semifinals, I should say. This was the quarterfinals, but who we face in the semifinals, we will find out later on in the show. But next up, for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, the Hurt Syndicate, that being Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. They hurt people. Well, of course, they defend against the Bad Apple, Brian Keith, and the Redwood Big Bill of the Learning Tree. So the Learning Tree getting this opportunity, and between this and the Ring of Honor World Championship match, the Learning Tree getting quite a bit here on this pay-per-view. Whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to you, but it is nice that Big Bill. If there is one good thing that's come out of the Learning Tree, it's that Big Bill and Brian Keith are getting TV time, so that's cool. And kind of a glimpse into the future from this past Dynamite. Looks like Jericho is going to be gone for a little bit. So it looks like the Jericho Vortex is closed, at least for now. But as for this match was okay. This is, I believe, this is the shortest match of the night. I did only 11 minutes, but I still think it did relatively well. I think Brian Keith and Big Bill did okay against Bobby and Sheldon. MVP was on commentary. MJF was in the crowd and did deck, I believe it was Brian Keith, he decked with the Diamond Ring, and so MJF has helped out the Hurt Syndicate. And Bobby and Sheldon kind of just took it and delivered the spear and got the win. So kind of furthering the story between MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. As he has teased that he's going to be joining. Will this sway it? We will find out in the coming weeks. But with that, the Hurt Syndicate who end up retaining here. But next up in the quarterfinal for the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament, Mercedes Moné battles Julia Hart. Right now, why? And I mentioned this in my predictions. Why do we only have one women's quarterfinal match, but we had two men's quarterfinal matches? That was a little bit strange. But as for this one, Mercedes Moné, technically, another thing I do have to correct, Mercedes Moné technically, I guess, has lost. She lost by disqualification, and to I believe it was Julia Hart that she lost to disqualification on a Collision, if I'm not mistaken. But otherwise, she still hasn't been pinned or submitted, so she's now undefeated with an asterisk. That's something they like to do. Like when someone loses by countout or disqualification, they'll still say they'll change it from they're outright undefeated to they've never been pinned or submitted, which pretty much is like, it's still undefeated without really being undefeated. It's undefeated without the commitment, it's essentially. But this match was pretty decent. Julia Hart almost getting the win on a couple occasions, but ultimately Mercedes Moné picking up the win, so she is advancing in the tournament, and which I guess makes sense if you're building up Mercedes Moné in a big way, especially with her holding 4 belts. A chance she might hold a 5th if she wins the tournament, but yes, so she does pick up the win here. But next up in trios action for the AEW World Trios Championship, it's the Death Riders, that being Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta, or I should say representing the Death Riders, because we still have John Moxley, and we'll get to that. They battle Rated FTR, that being the Rated R Superstar, Adam Copeland, and Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler of FTR. So these two have been feuding for a bit. But also some internal strife with Rated FTR, especially on the part of Dax Harwood, kind of abandoning both Adam Copeland and Cash Wheeler, and so some tension there between FTR and between and between Adam Copeland as well. So, how will things play out in this match? We will find out. This match was pretty decent. Wheeler Yuta surprisingly getting booed in his own hometown. So I guess Logan Paul ain't the only one getting booed in their hometown. But nevertheless, has some decent action between both sides. Ultimately, the Death Riders picking up the win, so they are still Trios champions. Yay! Hey, at least they didn't try to hide the Trios championships like they did the World Championship. But afterwards, FTR turns on Adam Copeland. So at first, there's Dax he does the pile driver, then he teases the concerto. Cash Wheeler stops him initially, but then they hits the Shatter Machine. So FTR is heel again. They have turned on Adam Copeland, and now a lot of people speculate that this is what's going to lead to the reunion of Edge and Christian, in quotation marks because it's Adam Copeland. The reunion of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage to battle FTR, and potentially hot take. I'm not entirely sure. I do prefer FTR as heels. Like they had been face in AEW. Before they turned heel, they were part of the Pinnacle and everything, but then they turned face again afterwards, and they've been face for a while. But I always did prefer FTR as heels. As far back as when they were the Revival in WWE, but which I don't think they were ever face as the Revival in WWE. I think they might have been briefly, but otherwise they had mainly stayed heel, which I think definitely plays more to them. So, we will see how that unfolds. But nevertheless, as the Death Riders are still Trios champions, and rated FTR is no more. But it's next up for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm, who comes out with the Rocky homage because we are in Philly. He battles Megan Bayne, and so these two had kind of been going at it for a bit. So the next, I guess, major feud for Toni Storm, or now that her feud with Mariah May is over, and so it's led to this match. And this one they were kind of positioning as kind of a David versus Goliath kind of match, but and you do see it kind of play out in there, but otherwise, pretty decent match, I would say, between both sides. It's them putting over the story of, first of all, Luther carrying away Penelope Ford was pretty funny, but also kind of showing Toni Storm having to really fight back against Megan Bayne and try to overcome the size disadvantage. I think was a pretty decent story told, and ultimately Toni Storm did defeat Megan Bayne, and so she is still your AEW Women's World Champion. But next up, once again, back to the men for the Owen Hart Cup tournament. And the Protostar, Kyle Fletcher, battles Mark Briscoe. These two, who they brought up their history with each other, kind of trading wins. Kyle Fletcher even, and I believe, getting a win over Mark Briscoe on Collision, and again, if I'm not mistaken, but now this is for advancement in the tournament. And this match was pretty fun. Some pretty scary bumps delivered to Mark Briscoe, courtesy of Kyle Fletcher, including and kind of dropping him shoulders first on the apron with like a very sick and also on the barricade, which admittedly was like pretty nasty. Mark Briscoe, obviously, he of course, sometimes in pro wrestling you take bumps. That's kind of what you do, but those were some sick ones there. But ultimately, Kyle Fletcher does pick up the win. And here, so he is advancing, so it will once again be Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. So I guess, as we're not quite done, Oh, excuse me. We're not quite done with that feud yet between those two, who it's kind of reignite in the in the semifinals. That's the second time I've done that. They are going to battle once again in the semifinals of the tournament. And as for who should advance between those two, and I should probably also reference who's advanced in the women's. Okay. Okay. So I was mistaken. Okay, so it'll actually be Ospreay versus Takeshita, and then Kyle Fletcher versus either Hangman Page or the Wild Card. All right. Looks like the next match is going to take place between Hangman and the Wild Card on this week's Dynamite on a Spring Breakthrough. And as for the women's, so we'll see who advances between Hangman or the Wild Card. Or it'll more than likely probably be the Wild Card, although I wouldn't mind Hangman advancing, and then the finals will happen at Double or Nothing. But as for the women's, we have in the semifinals, we have Jamie Hayter battling Chris Statlander, and then Mercedes Moné will battle Athena. So Athena is returning to AEW TV, so that's pretty exciting. But nevertheless, that's on with the rest of the show. Title versus mask for the Ring of Honor World Championship. As Bandito battles Chris Jericho. So, Bandito's kind of been gunning for Jericho and the Learning Tree and the World Championship for a little bit now, and Jericho, and it was recently reignited when Chris Jericho beat down Bandito's brother Gravity at Revolution and took his mask. So now Bandito's offered up his own mask, saying that Jericho, pretty much not embarrassed him, but like made his family cry after Gravity had his mask stolen. So now he's gunning for Jericho, and he's gunning for the championship. This match was pretty okay. Was pretty decent, I would say. Having Bandito do a majority of the legwork, I think really helped this match along. Jericho did what he needed to do, which was good. But like at this point in time, having the opponent do the majority of the legwork, while Jericho does what's needed, I think is probably the way to go. And not having Jericho dominate too much of the match, though he did dominate a good portion of it. They did do the paces spot that they had done already, and that had Bandito and Brian Keith had done much better. They did do the paces spot between the two, and then ultimately, at first they do a fake out. At first, Jericho beats Bandito after cheating with the baseball bat. Which when that happened, I wasn't like full on upset at I wouldn't say I wasn't like flipping over table, punching a hole through a TV upset, and I was more so like like I was upset, but like I was kind of more I don't want to say numb, but more so like kind of disappointed. I think is the word I was looking for. Or I was more so disappointed. But Swerve, and I'm not talking Strickland. He's coming up later. Swerve as Bandito's family explains to the referee. Aubrey Edwards comes in, talks with the family, and then talks to the other referee, and pretty much explains what happened. So the match is restarted, and Bandito is Ring of Honor World Champion. He does beat Jericho, so he becomes Ring of Honor World Champion again. The title he never officially lost. Now, I do have some points about that finish. We had seen something like that where the heel does the cheating thing and they get away with it. But they're very inconsistent with it, because then sometimes the referee sees what happened and then decides to restart the match because of the cheating. And now, I could knock it for the inconsistency, but if it means Jericho's not Ring of Honor World Champion anymore, I am willing to let bygones be bygones, and I will let them get away with it there. Alright, sorry about that. My camera messed up for a second there. But next up for the TNT Championship, we have Daniel Garcia battling defending the championship against Adam Cole. This match will have no time limit, and outside interference will be strictly prohibited. So these two had kind of been going back and forth for a while, facing previously for the TNT Championship, and so now it essentially has come to this: no outside interference, no time limit, and it's no more excuses. There will be a winner, or there will be a definitive winner, who is going to walk out TNT champion. And this match was pretty decent as well. Danny Garcia showing a bit more of an edge, a bit more of like an aggressive side to him, which I think definitely added to the story of the match. Him being kind of frustrated at not being able to put away Adam Cole definitively. Yeah, Adam Cole seemingly tweaking his leg again, and at least you think so. They kind of have a scare moment when Adam Cole is coming off the steel steps. It's crazy to think about how, between that and what happened at what happened previously in 2023, Adam Cole should just stop jumping off of stuff. That would probably be beneficial, because I don't want Adam Cole to be out for a long time again. But as for this match, had some pretty decent action between the two. Ultimately, Adam Cole picking up the win over Daniel Garcia and becoming the new TNT champion. And so besides winning, not counting the Ring of Honor World Champion, not Ring of Honor World Championship, not counting the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships or the Owen Hart Memorial Cup Championship, Adam Cole technically wins his first championship in AEW, if you don't count those two. Adam Cole is finally TNT champion. Him and Danny shake hands. Danny almost a little bit hesitant, but ultimately does it. So Adam Cole is TNT champion, and having Adam Cole come back off this injury and now is champion again is really cool, really feel good. So congrats to Adam Cole there. And pretty decent match. But next up in the semi-main event, this, to quote Mr. Anakin Skywalker, this is where the fun began. And it's time for the International Championship match, three-way for the International Championship, as Kenny Omega, the International Champion, and battles both Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. So they had the Fatal 4-Way. Both Speedball and Ricochet both pinned Mark David. It's at the same time. Speedball initiated Ricochet, then pinned on top of him, and then with his feet on the ropes for assistance. So it's led to this match here, this three-way match, and this match was a whole lot of fun. Like, a lot of fun action between all three guys. I think all three guys really had a lot of time to shine. The spot where both Kenny Omega and Speedball slapped Ricochet's head simultaneously was pretty funny, and they did something similar against that, except it was 4 people on Dynamite. So really kind of going along with the whole Ricochet is bald references, and the crowd chanting that as well. Considering how many, but also at the same time, considering how many other bald people there are in AEW, such as Claudio, Jon Moxley, Don Callis, etc. Why is it Ricochet that gets the chant? Probably because Ricochet feeds into it as part of his character and gimmick. But this match was a lot of fun, had a lot of fun action. Ultimately, Kenny Omega does retain, but this match was His match was fantastic. After having some like decent but not like absolutely blow me away type matches on the rest of the card, having this match in the semi main, I think definitely was like a breath of fresh air for this card. Right, but now it's time for the main event as Jon Moxley of the Death Riders defends against Swerve Strickland. And Jon Moxley, still leading the Death Riders, still has the championship in the briefcase. I mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. And at this point, I'm convinced he probably lost it. He probably lost it somewhere. That's probably why they have the briefcase, because he just lost it. Mox, if you did, it's okay. You're not in trouble. At least not with me. I don't know about Tony Khan, but Mox, if you lost it, you're not in trouble. You just gotta tell us. But nevertheless, Swerve did beat Ricochet at Revolution to win the number one contendership, and so Mox and Swerve have kind of been going back and forth, or the two most dangerous men in AEW. That's how they've been positioning in this. But this match was it was something. And first of all, this match happened like after midnight. We went and after midnight, so it was very early in the morning. It was like 12:30 by the time this match ended. It's so yeah, that already was not great. But then the match was also really not great. Now I'll say this: was it better than the Copeland match? Was it better than the Mox versus Adam Copeland match at Revolution? Absolutely. But it still wasn't great. It was kind of just meh, and definitely not on the part of Swerve. Like Swerve tried his damnedest. I do not blame Swerve here. I think Swerve was a much better opponent for Mox here than Adam Copeland and was at Revolution, but it still made for a pretty dull match, mainly because kind of similar to what happened with the Revolution match. There was a lot of really slow moments where things just kind of slowed down to a halt and dragged. Now, I know sometimes you gotta slow things down, give the wrestlers a chance to catch their breath and everything, but this one moved way too slow at times. But also, once again, Mox got way too much in, at least compared to Swerve. Like, you obviously want Mox to get a portion of the offense in, especially with him being the heel and being the champion and having the challenger battle back and everything. But then like having Mox get so much in compared to Swerve not getting nearly as much in was pretty annoying. Then the rest of the Death Riders do show up, but they're taken out by the Ops, which, by the way, the Ops, probably one of my favorite team names. The Ops, that being Hook, Katsuyori Shibata, and Samoa Joe. A pretty awesome name is the Ops team. But then, and Swerve nails the Swerve Stomp. You think he has it won, then the lights go out, they come back up, and there's the Young Bucks holding Swerve. They nail the EVP trigger and pretty much hand Mox the win. And so Mox escapes again, this time with help from the Young Bucks. Oh boy. When this happened, admittedly, I felt like I pretty much felt the way I felt when you thought Jericho initially won the Ring of Honor World Championship match earlier in the show. Except there was no fake out this time. This one was real. But also, I was more so like, what? Like, why did the Young Bucks hand Mox the win? And especially with, hey, let's look at this from a storytelling perspective. If you're EVPs, the Young Bucks are EVPs. This guy, Mox, and the rest of the Death Riders, the rest of his crew, have been running roughshod over your company for months now, taking out people hither and yon, on damn near killing multiple people. And you're going to help him out and pretty much hand it to him? Why? And they kind of try to explain away on Dynamite, where They say they gave it to Mox as a peace offering. Again, what? Again, why is that the case? And Omega does also call them out on which Kenny, I get Kenny kind of has an excuse because he's been in the international title picture, but also Kenny probably should also be concerned. Or Kenny does kind of call the Young Bucks out on it. Even makes a reference, even makes like a couple references to both cuckoldry and OnlyFans. But yeah, it was very very strange. And so Mox is still AEW World Champion. Yay! Hey, absolutely wonderful. Now, but here's where it gets even more interesting. So now apparently the report is coming out that apparently the goal was for Mox to hold the World Championship for a while. Well, to hold it for a while. Well, apparently he's gonna have a long World Championship reign. And so, oh joy. But also, apparently, the report's also coming out that numbers are apparently up in terms of, I believe, viewership and I believe like revenue or something along those lines. Apparently, is up, or it might be pay-per-view buys, but apparently numbers are up with Mox as world champion here in this reign. Now, obviously, he kind of, I mentioned that at the top of this review that I'm definitely not a professional analyst or anything like that. Now I kind of do say it as kind of a catchphrase or a moniker, but it is also legit because as me not really being a professional, I don't have that info, so I can't really dispute them on that. But it wouldn't be the first time where the thoughts of the people watching and kind of IWC and everything kind of conflict with what the numbers and stuff say. But at the end of the day, hey, it is still a business. So if numbers are up, cool, I guess. But oy vey, hey, we still have Mox as world champion, and I do wonder if Darby being gone has anything to do with Mox holding it for a while. Although it shouldn't, considering you knew Darby was going to be gone for a bit because he wanted to climb Mount Everest. He had been talking about it since last year. He was supposed to go last year, didn't because he broke his foot. But you would think that from there they would pivot. I don't know if the plan all along was for Mox to have a world title reign, irregardless of Darby. Maybe Darby wasn't supposed to win the world championship. Maybe Mox would have had a long reign regardless of Darby being there or not. That's all speculation. I don't know for sure. But oi. So I guess we're stuck with Mox as world champion for a while. And admittedly, I don't really. Here's the thing, and I don't really blame Mox. Like the thing is, Mox can go in the ring for the most part, or he's able to cut a promo for the most part. But this character and this storyline has really felt like a slog, and this championship reign has really felt like a slog and really felt like a drag. It seemed like almost every opportunity, every avenue to change course direction or to really alter it, they haven't really taken, and it almost feels like the thing is AEW is no stranger to long-term storytelling, and even WWE's kind of adopted the whole long-term storytelling formats. But if you're going to do long-term storytelling, you have to make things interesting, and that's kind of what they failed to do with this title reign. They've really failed. It really feels like they failed to keep things interesting and to keep people's interest. It's like a lot of people are over this title reign. A lot of people have been over this title reign for a while now. But if the numbers are up and if the plan apparently is for Mox to have a long title reign, I guess we're stuck with it. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for Dynasty here for this review. Sadly, nowhere near as good as the previous year. Last year's was especially really fantastic, especially with Swerve winning the World Championship last year, and with I believe Ospreay versus Danielson was also at last year's Dynasty. He as well. Yeah. So like between those two matches, like one with Swerve winning the world championship, something people have been wanting him to do for a while, and the other with a like match of the year candidate, in Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay. This year already had like an uphill battle, but it really felt not necessarily bad, but kind of lifeless at times, and that's really unfortunate. But if I had to pick the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest is definitely the international championship match. That match was a whole lot of fun. And as for the weakest, it's between the two world title matches. Is not the women's world championship match, but the Ring of Honor world championship match, Jericho versus Bandito, and the main event. And honestly, I think I'm gonna go with the main event. Hence, main event. My goodness, mainly because that match was 35 seconds longer than the international championship match. So two 31 minute matches is back to back. That was already kind of a slog, but at least with the international championship match, that match was a fun 31 minute. It's like it was 31 minutes, but you didn't care because you were hooked the whole time. But the main event really dragged and really felt like a slog. And also worth mentioning, Swerve said F Booker T after things went off the air. They had kind of Swerve and Booker T had been, if you aren't caught up, they've been kind of having a back and forth the past couple weeks or so. But yeah, that main event really was a slog, and it's really unfortunate, but I guess that's how it is for the time being. But how will things fare as we move into Double or Nothing? I guess we'll find out. But in the meantime, that is going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Dynasty this year and my review. If you like Dynasty, if you like my review Dynasty, let me know. Oh, and excuse me, also because I know kind of how my brain works and everything, I probably said Dynamite a lot more or accidentally than Dynasty when I didn't mean to in this review. So if I did, I do apologize. It's late. I'm kind of tired. So definitely bear with me on that front. But yeah. But also let me know in the comments your thoughts on Jon Moxley's world title reign, because I am interested to know. Am I being too harsh in saying it hasn't been in a good title reign? Am I not being harsh enough? Definitely let me know in the comments. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.